Hey, my name is Ron, and I represent New Age survival technologies, and that references the broad spectrum of prop building and making gadgets and stuff like that to actual computer repair business and stuff, um, encompassing like other things like upgrades and tinkering and doing things like that. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm into. Um, Somebody asked that, how do I see myself within that universe, like is it Marvel or is it DC or whatever. But I find that I like elements in both, and I'm kind of trying to encompass both and emulating a lot of their things because of my artistic point of view and take on wanting to make things and stuff like that. It's what an artist does, kind of, I guess you could say. Um, Wants to create something, just make it. It's because it's there to bring out of whatever it's in and do something meditative and good for yourself. You know. And I guess in that sense, I do see the correlations with the liking both universes and stuff like that. The things I do in the cosplay is my approach is the dumpster diver. Hey, I'm a dumpster diver. Spider-Man's a dumpster diver. I didn't realize that he would make that comment. Then I saw that the Flash from the DCEU is going to be he's professing how he dumpster dives for all his things to put his suit together. That he came up with all this stuff just out of recycling and turning things over into something more useful, maybe repurposing of stuff like that. So that's kind of become the credo for New Age survival technologies to kind of reinvigorate things and come up with a new way or something, or a better way or something for something to function or something to work, or hey, just something really cool and just out of the box and something artistic in a sense. And well, that's what we're doing here, and it's going to be awesome to see where we go with this. Uh, I just wanted to point out, like, here's an example. Right now, here is the Flash's Justice League helmet. It's just not made out of foam or anything like that. I kind of I have to go to that next level because I mean, why not? If you think you can figure it out and you know what you can do, you can do something with it. Why not do it? Okay, so you know, I mean, I took and repurposed materials. Like I found some brass plates. Well, I cut them up and I used them for his wing, or what do you call these? The feathers or whatever on Flash, the lightning bolts on his helmet. Okay, so I made them and then I backlit them. I got some LEDs in there, and I had a power source. Where's the power source? No power source nearby. Oh, one sec. Okay, so I intended to be able to light them off my solar panels, and I have them all set up outside, and I was kind of experimenting on the strength of and the angle of light and everything like that over the next few days. And experimental purposes, I'm going to be setting up all my gadgets, and hopefully everything will run how I figured. So, let's get these back up. I think this one's going to have to be fixed into place. It's wibbling and wobbling. But, as you can see, I mean, this is what we're doing. We're doing some really cool shit out. And interested in, expanding our boundaries and stuff, exploring a little bit further than some people are willing to go. It's a very cool helmet design. It was JB Weld epoxy. I've got a Kevlar liner. I did some. There's some metal meshing, and it was actually a cardboard backing that created the structure of the facial features here, and then basically I just kind of kept molding over top of it, and eventually this is what you get. Nice transition with JB Weld all the way down into EVA foam. Don't be fooled. The little line you see here, that's just me cutting it out. Okay, the transition lines from where the helmet is joined, basically the liner is joined to the actual EVA foam, is like actually somewhere in here. Um, but I'm here to tell you, Kevlar, JB Weld, EVA foam, they all kind of get along together. This is kind of like really a good learning thing. Something like, wow, you know what, that can work as far as construction methods into making your next cosplay, making your next gadget or whatever. Uh, Maybe that one little bracket thing or something like that. You can actually do that too. You can create some kind of like um, piece that actually joins certain things that just don't go together. And you know, that's something like this is a good medium to joining wood is actually favorable. Looks like in good construction. Um, because I wonder if you could see by looking at that, you can tell this is actually EVA foam right here. This is actually the epoxy, but it's actually overlapped, so there's a little bit of skin coat on there, and that helps hold it together. Cool. Okay. Educational video, you might as well say, something to think about in the way that some of these things come together. I mean, they make things look kind of really cool, and I think that's kind of like invigorating towards you know, towards your end result, you know, what you're trying to do. So something to consider in your next construction project is to think about somehow some of these materials can come together that you just never thought of. It's not too far for us to just go ahead and just explore and just test those and see that actually, you know what, we can make things in making our cosplay really interesting by some of these interesting new methods. Um, they're much more robust, I suppose you could say, in the construction method. Um, there's a little bit more detail which I haven't disclosed, I suppose you could say, but there's a few more nuances within that. Um, like, I'm just throwing it out there. Captain America's helmet, my construction of it, is about as hard as a motorcycle helmet. Also has a fireproof liner that was in there. There was a sandwich of things that came together. I mean, there was a paper mache, and then there was some plastic in there, which helped hold some of the shape. And then from the paper mache, a metal. There was a mesh that went over top of it, epoxied it, and then, you know, eventually I just kept building up on top of it because I knew that I'd have to grind back off there to get some of the profile and the effect of the end result. But cost comparative, like, you know, if you buy those tubes or two packs, it's kind of like $4 or $5 and something. Um, if you go online, you can get it for like, I think it's like $15 for about 10 ounces. And on a dollar amount, if you're paying $5 for a set that equals to an ounce, then it's worth getting the $15. And in the long run, that that was cost effective in the construction uh, to do these helmets. And like this one, it's only taken a few sets of tubes because it was all I was doing was joining things, stuff like that. Um, but consider this like a blog video for myself, and then those who get to see it and all that. Just something to think about in the way you make things. All right, United Survival Technologies. It's a shout out to myself, I suppose you could say. Look for it. Doing cool things, I think.